Welcome to the Tealand Knits Knitting Podcast. My name's Natasha. I'm from the UK, but I'm currently living on a tropical island called Sri Lanka with my husband, Bob. And this is new to me. This is my first podcast episode, and I'm new to taking videos. I'm usually behind the camera, not in front of it with videos and talking. So I just recently released my first Instagram stories posts where I was actually speaking in video, and that was a huge deal for me. But now I feel like I'm ready to take on a podcast, but I apologise, you'll have to bear with me if there are any teething problems. But this is mainly a podcast about knitting. I love knitting. I've been knitting since 2014 I started. I had a little break because we moved abroad, and it was tropical where we were living. We were in Thailand for a little while, and I just didn't feel that I could knit there comfortably. But thankfully we later moved, after moving back to the UK, we moved back to the tropics, and we live in Sri Lanka, and I brought my needles with me, and I was there in Sri Lanka during the pandemic, and wow, having my knitting needles and having a project really helped me get through that period. It really was wonderful, and it helped me hone my knitting skills as well. Then we went back to England, and we were in England for two and a half years, and I really got some good knitting skills down when I was in England. I knit lots and lots of jumpers, lots of colour work, lots of socks, and now I feel like a much more proficient knitter than I was before. I also feel that knitting is my love and my passion and my safe place that I go to when I need comfort. So I try and knit every single day. Well, not try and knit, I have to knit really every single day. And if there's a day that I don't knit, it feels like an odd day. So yeah, I've always got something on my needles. So at the moment I'm trying to design some jumpers myself, or some sweaters, because I've knit a lot of patterns, but I've found that the fit of those patterns were wonderful, but I had to adapt every single one because I have slightly my arm proportionately larger to the rest of my body compared to the standard pattern size. So I've always had to adapt for larger arms. So I thought, let me try and design my own pattern, and I'll knit for myself. I'll knit a pattern that I really want to have in my wardrobe, and I'll make the dimensions of the garment the kind that I would like to see. And I like to wear my knitwear between 0 to 4, maybe 6 inches of positive ease from the bust size. But around my arms, personally, I feel that if I have a slightly closer fitting sleeve, for me, it's more flattering. Saying that, I have knit other jumpers, like the Weekender by Andrea Mowry. I love the fit of that, and that was it had a lot more ease in the body. The arms were still a little more fitted, I think, than some of the oversized jumpers or sweaters like Petite Knit, for example. So I do like that idea of having slightly closer fitting sleeves, but still the patterns that I am writing or that I'm looking at designing definitely have more ease in the arms, just to fit my arms, because I want to design jumpers that I'm going to wear, and that also hopefully will help others who have the same sort of body type or predicament that I have, and so you don't have to adapt or constantly research on how to adapt a certain sweater and jumper to fit your needs. So I'll show you what I've been working on, or what's just come off my needles yesterday, because I'm very bad and I just cast on more than one thing. So when I was working on this, I think I had 10 rows left of a cuff, and I just couldn't wait, and I started my next project. But I really wanted to finish this because I wanted to show it all to you. So I won't try it on right now, but this is the jumper. It's a cropped raglan construction jumper. It's striped, very simple. I spaced out the stripes in a way that I like. The yoke depth is a good size for me. and have still got all my stitch markers on there, but the arm length is 18 inches to the cuff, or rather to my cuff, to the wrist. So I really like this. I'm really looking forward to wearing it. It was inspired by Cornwall, and also if you do follow me on my Instagram channel, you will know about Roly. Let's see, my little frog. So Claire Garland of Pebbles Knits. I'm sorry, I realise I'm looking at the wrong place on the camera now. Claire Garland from Pebbles Knits, she designed this wonderful frog pattern. I think it was in 2022, the summer of, I think it was 22, the summer of 22. And then India Rose Crawford, another very talented lady, she knit the frog and she made a little video about the frog, and then Frog and Toad, which I'm sure most of you will have seen because it just went viral and everybody just loves it, and she has a huge following now. But this is Roly. He was my very first frog, and then I very shortly afterwards knitted him a little friend, which is Toad. So that's Roly and Toad. I do have two other little characters that often feature on my Instagram page, but these two are the ones that I go to the most. And I've actually written a little book about them, so hopefully that book's in the works. The illustrations are nearly finished and hopefully it will be released at the end of the year, but more information on that soon. Sorry. So yeah, so you can see Roly's jumper. Here, if I put it here, maybe I'll look in the right place. So he's got these lovely little stripes, and he's got some cute dungarees on. The dungarees were originally, I started knitting them from a pattern by, I think it was Zinc Hobbies. Hobbies Knits. Sorry, I have to check that out, and I'll put the name up in my video. But I have designed my own dungarees pattern for the frogs now. So this is called the Farmer's Overalls, Frog Farmer's Overalls. And some of the frogs, this one is not very round around the middle. But Toad is a little larger around the middle. So the dungarees that I've designed fit both of them. They're size inclusive dungarees, I call them, because there are basically two patterns. So you can choose depending on what kind of size your frog is. If you knit frogs, and if you come here from my channel, you'll see that from my Instagram, you'll see that I have several knitting patterns for frogs on there. But I decided to size up from frogs to humans. So that's why I designed this, and this pattern is kind of inspired by Roly's jumper, where it all began, because I know a lot of my followers on Instagram came for the frog content, but also because of Cornwall, because I love Cornwall. My husband and I spent our 10th wedding anniversary in Cornwall a few years ago, really loved it, and then we went back for our 15th, I think. So I'm from London in the UK. Cornwall is a good few hours drive away, but we just really love it there and it's beautiful. So if you haven't been to Cornwall, I would definitely recommend a visit. So yes, so that is my finished object, kind of. I just need to weave in the ends. I haven't done that yet, and I need to block it. But while I was still knitting the cuff, the final cuff, and only had 10 rows to go, I cast on my next project. So this project, I haven't knit very much of it at all, just a few inches. So this is going to be an oversized fit jumper. It's going to be a drop shoulder top-down construction. So I have knit bottom up before, but I wanted to give myself a bit more control over the length of the jumper, and I also wanted to try a new skill, because I really want to understand the top-down construction, because I love knitting top-down, Sometimes I'll knit a jumper and I'll see where the designer wanted it to end, and I'll check it on myself. I'll put it on, because that's the great thing with top-down knitting, you can try it on. So I try it on and it doesn't hit just right, so I'll knit a bit more or I'll take a little bit off. I don't like being tied to the length, so for now I'm going to be knitting top-down. So this jumper will be top-down construction, oversized, lots and lots of positive ease. I think I'm going for 7 to 10 inches of positive ease in the body, and then I will do slightly more fitted sleeves, but like I said, I'll be going for a larger basic sleeve size anyway, so there'll be ease in the sleeves. The yarn that I'm using for this is, I just have to talk about it because it's so beautiful. It's Drops Soft Tweed, and it's got this lovely tweedy speckling in the yarn. It's a DK weight yarn, but I don't know, I think it knits up to closer to worsted. It's kind of in between those two. And yes, at the moment it's on sale, but I mean, by the time this goes live, it probably won't be on sale anymore. But Drops yarn they do put their yarn on sale quite often, and at the moment they're having an alpaca sale, so I got myself some lots of yarn that contains alpaca because I do love it for the softness. So that's that. And I didn't mention what this was knit in. So this jumper is also knit in Drops yarn. It is so soft, really squishy, and it's got lovely, I don't know if you'll be able to see the texture on this. I need to learn how to show you texture on this. But it's got like a lovely halo. Maybe you can see that. Yeah, it's got a lovely halo without it being too fluffy, because I've got quite sensitive skin, and I think that a lot of sort of that fluffy yarn would affect my skin and would give me a bit of a rash, but this is fine. I'm fine with the mix of wool and alpaca. So this is Drops Nord. It's a fingering weight 4-ply yarn, and it has got a little bit of acrylic in it as well for strength, but it's mainly wool, a little bit of alpaca, and then a little bit of acrylic. But that gives it, for me, it helps to make more durable knits. So that's what I went for this. This is the soft tweed. It's also got a little bit of acrylic in the yarn, but it's, I think the ball band says it is 50% wool, 25% alpaca, and 25% viscose. It's a lovely soft yarn, and when I blocked it, after I'd actually used it, after I'd knit out my swatch, oh, it was so soft. It was a really lovely yarn to work with, so I'm really looking forward to knitting this up. I didn't mention again, sorry, I'm flitting back and forth, this jumper that I've knit, it is a cropped jumper, and I've done a split hem, because I find that split hems for me are really flattering, and it gives you that little bit of extra room, and I think they can look smart and casual as well. So that's that jumper. So that's basically what I wanted to cover today. It's not a very long podcast. Knitting, frogs and books. So next time I'll try and be a little bit more polished and a bit more prepared and have more to show you. I'm hoping to add a tips section, because I really love learning new tips about knitting, but also tips about reading my knitting, because I think that if we can read our knitting, it helps our knitting fly along. It's more fun, gives you less headaches. So I'm going to try and add in a little bit of that content as well. But thank you very much for sticking with me for my first episode, and I look forward to seeing you soon. Bye!